keep saying my house is filthy because of a video someone edited about me, because of a hate page that made videos about me. My house is normal, and I will show it to you.
It's one of those stories that could only happen in the age of TikTok, where a simple video showing nothing more than a mother feeding her child breakfast spiraled into one of the most heated online debates of the year. A woman once known to a small corner of TikTok as Donut Mom would go from being a relatable face of motherhood to a lightning rod for outrage, mockery, and eventually full-scale exposure. Because what started as a harmless breakfast vlog soon turned into something much darker. A story about how the internet can take ordinary people, twist their lives into narratives, and destroy them overnight. At the center of it all is Alexandra Sable, a content creator who gained traction by showing what she called realistic motherhood. Unlike the picture-perfect TikTok moms with spotless kitchens and curated smiles, Alexandra's videos were raw, chaotic, and undeniably human. In a world obsessed with filters and aesthetics, that honesty initially made her stand out, but that all changed with one post. In early 2024, Alexandra uploaded a short video that would unknowingly define her online reputation forever. It showed her preparing breakfast for her 1-year-old, a pouch of applesauce, and 3 powdered mini donuts. A small, almost mundane clip, but one that would explode far beyond her control. The internet didn't see a mother feeding her kid, it saw an example of bad parenting. Thousands of users began stitching and duetting her video, mocking her choices, labeling her neglectful, and accusing her of being unfit. Within days, she became a trending topic under the name Donut Mom. But the real story didn't stop there, because as the outrage grew, Alexandra didn't back down. Instead, she leaned into the chaos. In follow-up videos, she stood by her choices, calling out what she described as mom-shaming culture. She claimed that the people attacking her weren't worried about her child's health. They were attacking her appearance, her weight, and her lifestyle. To her, this wasn't about donuts anymore. It was about how society treats mothers who don't fit the perfect influencer mold. That defiance made things worse. Each new video she posted only seemed to fuel the fire. Comment sections filled with hate. Reaction channels began dissecting her life, her home, and even her family. What was once a personal space turned into a public battleground, and soon the scrutiny became unbearable. Yet behind the viral labels and the thousands of stitches, few seemed to realize that Alexandra wasn't some celebrity or brand. She was just another person posting her life online. A mother who, in trying to be authentic, accidentally fed the internet's endless appetite for controversy. But what happened next would turn a moment of public shaming into a full-blown online meltdown. Because once the internet found her personal details, it wasn't just about breakfast anymore. What began as a debate over parenting would soon unravel into something far more personal. A story that blurred the line between accountability, obsession, and pure digital cruelty. The internet had already labeled her Donut Mom. It was a nickname that spread faster than her actual name, Alexandra Sable, ever could. But as the ridicule piled up, curiosity began to grow. Who really was this woman behind the viral scandal? Within days, TikTok users began digging deeper. Screenshots of her past posts were shared across Reddit threads and Discord servers. Some users found clips of her home, messy, cluttered, filled with everyday chaos, and began using them as evidence that she was unfit.
This is your authentic living room.
Yeah.
Others went even further, creating conspiracy theories about her relationships, her mental state, and the condition of her children. It didn't take long before Alexandra's private life was no longer private. Her full name was shared, her location speculated, and her face became a meme, often paired with captions that stripped away every bit of humanity she had left online. What had started as judgment over a child's breakfast had become an obsession with destroying a person's identity. But while the internet mocked her, something else was happening. A quiet wave of sympathy started to build among viewers who saw the situation for what it was. A viral mob targeting a mother who made one questionable choice. Commenters began pointing out that many parents feed their children sugary foods, especially when rushing in the morning. Others reminded people that a single video doesn't define a person's parenting. And yet, the algorithm doesn't care about empathy. It rewards outrage. Creators realized that talking about Donut Mom guaranteed views. The more shocking the title, the better the engagement. TikTok's worst mother, the woman feeding her baby junk. Each upload turned her life into content. Thumbnails showing her face, headlines painting her as a villain. And every time she tried to defend herself, the cycle restarted. In one video, Alexandra said she wanted to show what real motherhood looked like. Messy, unfiltered, and sometimes imperfect. But online, imperfection is blood in the water. Once a creator becomes the target of mass ridicule, no explanation is enough. People weren't watching her anymore to understand. They were watching to judge. The most haunting part of her downfall wasn't how fast it happened. It was how normal it had become. Social media had turned public shaming into a sport. Each new viral villain becomes the center of digital entertainment until the next one arrives. And Alexandra's story proved how fragile the boundary between audience and victim really is. One upload, just 15 seconds long, was enough to erase everything else she'd ever done.
After tons of backlash, the Donut Mom has actually made a statement on her Facebook. She has not made a statement here on TikTok about everything that went down on the interview and what is being said about her and her boyfriend and the essay allegations. So let's read what she has to say. It says, "Let's get one thing straight. I gave birth to 3 children, me, myself, and I. I went through hell and back to get these kids here. I will not be addressing allegations regarding my children. I and my children and those around me know the truth, and that's all that matters. Until you know the entire story, keep your opinions and accusations to yourself, and that's all I will say on the matter. I am a damn good mother who would do anything for her children, except clean her house. And unless you know my heart, you can't say anything, but leave me, my family, and my children alone. Me being a content creator entitles you to know 0% about my life." What an interesting thing to say. So I am definitely one who agrees that once you are a creator, you don't owe the internet everything. But you also have to take responsibility and ownership for the things that you decide to share. And the things that you've decided to share, Alex, is very disturbing.
But even as the backlash grew unbearable, she refused to disappear. She kept uploading, kept speaking, kept trying to explain her side. To her, silence meant guilt. And in the eyes of millions, guilt was already decided. Still, what came next would push the situation beyond social backlash, because soon, Donut Mom would no longer just be a meme. She would become a full-blown case study of what happens when TikTok outrage turns into real-world damage. By the 3rd week of the outrage, the tone around Donut Mom's name had shifted completely. It was no longer just TikTok reacting. News outlets, commentary channels, and gossip forums were all covering the same story. Her video had evolved from a parenting controversy into a viral phenomenon, and in the process, Alexandra Sable had become one of the most recognizable faces on TikTok for all the wrong reasons. Reddit threads titled, "The Donut Mom Situation Keeps Getting Worse" started trending. Some users claimed to have proof of unhygienic living conditions. Others said they'd seen pests in the background of her clips. Still others began circulating theories about her relationships, suggesting things that were never proven, never verified. But that didn't matter anymore. Once the internet collectively decides who the villain is, truth becomes optional. In the eyes of her critics, Alexandra was no longer a struggling mom filming her morning routine. She was a symbol of what's wrong with TikTok parenting: careless, exploitative, and unfit. But that label said more about the audience than it did about her, because what people were truly addicted to wasn't outrage. It was the illusion of moral superiority. Watching someone else's downfall allows viewers to feel righteous, like they're protecting children, defending standards, or standing up for something good. But underneath that performance, the motivation is far simpler: attention. Every comment, every share, every video made about her kept the fire burning, and the algorithm loved it. Meanwhile, Alexandra tried to push back. In a now deleted post, she said, "You all act like this is about donuts, but it's about who you think deserves to be a mother." It was a painful sentence, one that cut through the noise, but it was also one that got buried beneath thousands of replies mocking her instead. Her words became screenshot. Her tears turned into reaction content. Even her attempts at defense became fuel for more criticism. Eventually, things began to bleed into real life. Reports circulated that her address had been leaked, that strangers were driving past her home, recording videos, and posting them online. Her comment sections filled with threats disguised as parenting advice. TikTok had turned her kitchen into a public courtroom, and every viewer was the judge.